welcome to the Farmery training videos. My name is Brianna, and I'm an AmeriCorps Vista member with the Farmery, and I'm here to show you how to do all the things in our lovely grow system. So first, when you come in for the day, you want to come to this box and grab the volunteer binder. Grab the binder, and it's separated into sections. So in the first section, you'll have the daily log, and that's where you'll find the tasks that you need to do each day on your shift. So first, we start with testing the pH of the fish tank. The test kits are located here. So you'll want to grab one of those out. And we have the pH test kit. So in the kit, you'll find the solution, the test tube, and a color card. So you want to get water from the fish tank for the pH tube. So you want to fill to about where the line is on the tube. Once you have the water in the tube, you want to add the solution. So you do 3 drops of the solution. And put the lid on the tube. Then you'll shake the tube. Once it's nice and mixed in. Then you want to compare the color of the tube to the color card. So here we can see it's pretty light, but it looks like it's about 7.2 to 7.6. So we'll want to record about, I'd say 7.6 into the log. After you have tested the pH, you want to test the nitrates in the system. So we only test the nitrates once a week, so it'll only be assigned to one shift on the volunteer schedule. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it. So the test kits will be kept with the same test kits as the pH was, except we're going to use these test strips. So you just want to take out one of the strips, and we're gonna go dunk it in the fish tank. So you simply want to dip it in and take it right back out. And you want to hold it horizontally so that the colors aren't bleeding into each other. And we'll take it back over. And you want to let it sit for about a minute before you compare the strip to the colors on the tube. But how you do it, so you want to look at the tube, and we're trying to look at nitrates. So we want to look at this top one here, and we're comparing the colors on the strip to the colors on the tube. So you want to look at which one it's going to fit most closely. And it looks like we're right around here, maybe at the 160 mark, which is good. So the nitrates, the reason that we measure these is because the nitrates are what help nourish the plants. So we want to make sure that there's a healthy level of nitrates in our system. So when we do this, we test the fish tank, and then we also test the grow beds. So you just want to use one for the tank and then one for the grow beds, making sure that we have enough nitrates flowing throughout the entire system. Then you want to check the humidity in the room and the temperature of the room. After that, you'll check the temperature of the fish tank. So that will be right over here. and it'll be hanging in the water like so. So now it's at about 70 almost, or 68. So we'll write 68 in the log. Next, we want to unclog the filters on the grow beds. So before you come up to the bed, make sure that you grab a new filter to replace the dirty one. So you want to lean in, and there's a rubber band that's holding the filter on. You need to grab the filter out from underneath. And another way that you can do it is to take this part off and simply remove the filter that way. Just depends on if you can get this part of the tube off or not. So after you've taken the dirty one off, you want to put the new filter on. So you're just putting it in under the rubber band. And you want to make sure that the entire opening of the filter is inside of that rubber band. That way the filter won't come off at any point. So after you have the filter on, you can put the tube back in. And now we have a fresh filter for the fish waste. And when you're cleaning the filters, don't forget there's a filter right down here. So you just use the same process of grabbing one of the new filters, taking this one off of the rubber band and putting the new one on. So once you have the filter down from the grow bed, you need to clean it out. So in order to do so, you need to turn it inside out so that the fish waste is on the outside of the bag. Put the outside of the bag, the filter, onto the bucket. Then you want to make sure that you have the hose on, and you want to turn it to something powerful. So I have mine on jet. So you spray the filter, making sure that the inside of it gets nice and clean. And then you might have a little that's still left on the inside that you want to turn it back, empty any of that out, and you can spray it some more if you feel like it needs it. And then after it's clean, you want to hang it up to dry. Now that you've seen how to clean out the filter in the grow beds, so we showed you the one that was on this side of the system. You want to make sure that you're cleaning out the filter that's on this side of the system as well. So it's going to be in those far top beds. Additionally, we have a filter that's in this part of the system that I'll show you. So it's located in here. So you take this off. So you want to take the filter out of this area. You pull it forward first, forward this way, and then we pull it out. So as you can see, there's a little bit of grime on the filter. And we want to clean this off the same way that we cleaned off the netting ones. So you just want to take it over, spray it off into the bucket, and then put it back in the system. And lock it back into place. So next we want to feed the fish. So we come over to where the fish food is kept. We want to get 1 scoop of it. and then toss it into the fish. So you can just toss it in like so. And you'll have some happy fish. After you fed the fish, we want to do a walkthrough of the grow system. So you'll just come over to the system and take a look at all of the plants. So normally we would have the whole system filled with plants, and we would want to look through and pick out all of the dead leaves that are in the plants. Next, we would want to rotate the pots that are on these bottom rows. So this side of the system as well as that side, the pots need to be rotated in order to ensure that the plants are getting an equal amount of light. So we'll want to switch the ones that are in the very middle that are getting the most light here and put them on the outside from day to day, just so that we ensure that they have an equal amount of light. The last part of your walkthrough of the system will be making sure if you need to water the plants or not. So to see if you need to water these plants that are on the bottom rows of each system, you'll want to look at the soil, see if it looks dry. And here we have some pretty moist soil. You can also feel the soil like so to see if it needs to be watered. So it looks like the plants that we have here now have plenty of water. But if they look dry and they feel dry, then they need to be watered. So in order to water them, you just want to grab the hose, turn it onto the mist setting, and lightly mist the plants. So now that we've finished our daily tasks in the log, we've made sure that we've recorded them. And we can also look at the log and see that there are a few more sections that you can fill in. So if you harvested greens, we have a check for that. If you planted greens, we have a check for that. And you'd be completing the logs that are in the system. So we'll get to that once we start planting and harvesting in these videos. In addition, you'll write down other tasks that you completed that weren't on this list. Concerns, new ideas, and solutions to problems. We'd love to have volunteers' feedback so that we can know how things are going with the grow system. So it's very important to us that you write these down or just let us know. And then finally, if there are any supplies that are needed here, you'll want to write that down here as well. But we also have an inventory system that is called Kanban. So the Kanban system, once you find one of these cards, that's when you'll know that we're out of a supply that we need. So for example, these gallon storage bags, you would find this card located in the second to last row, indicating that we need to order more. So we have enough to last for a little while longer, but we need to know that we need to order more. So you'll take this card and you'll stick it right in front of your daily log page. So just put that in, and once we come back and look at these logs, we'll know that we need to order more supplies. So the next section in the binder has the how-to steps for all of the training videos that I'm going over now and all the training that you'll need to work in the system. So if you forget something that we've talked about in the videos, you can look at this. We have step-by-step directions on how to do these tasks. The third section of the binder has the schedule for all of our farming volunteers and the contact page for all the farming volunteers. So this also has the emergency contacts in case you really need to get a hold of someone after hours or something has really gone wrong in the system. In the fourth tab, we have our liability waivers. So If you're going to be volunteering in the system but you want to bring a friend one day, you can easily have them sign a liability waiver right before they volunteer, and they'll be good to go. You just need to make sure that anyone who is volunteering in this system or with the Farmery signs one of these liability waivers. The last tab in the binder contains paper, just in case you need to make some extra notes. So, speaking of the liability waivers and speaking of safety, we're going to go over some of the things that you need to keep in mind in order to stay safe when you're volunteering with the farm. The first step in our safety training is going to be working with ladders. So, when you set up the ladder, you'll want to press down these and make sure that they're locked. Once you are positioning your ladder for where you want it to be to work in the system, you want to make sure that it's on level ground. So find a spot where it's level, and then you're ready to climb. So when you're climbing a ladder, make sure that your hands are always on each side of the ladder. You want to put one foot up, step up, sliding your hands up while you do so, then put another foot up, and keep going up. So we never want to step above this row on the ladder. We can step here, and that's easy for me to reach in the system, and I'm pretty short. So that should be a good level for us to reach anything we need to at the Farmery. Then when you're climbing down the ladder, make sure that you are keeping your hands on the sides of the ladder and just taking it one step at a time. The next step in safety training is going to be working with scissors. So we use these scissors, they're going to be located up here in order to harvest our greens. So when you're working with scissors, if you're walking across to anywhere, make sure that they're pointing downward. You've got a firm grip on them, but never walk like this and never run with scissors. And then when you store them, we have them stored like this because we've washed them, so we want them to dry. But make sure that they're completely in the container. There's no chance that they're poking out one of these holes or going to fall out and hurt someone. Once they're dry, we can store them like this. So when you're working in the Farmery, a big component of safety is being aware of trip hazards. Watch where you're walking at all times, as well as with the hoses. So there are always going to be these hoses that are out here. We have a lot of different hoses that are draining water that we need to keep in those positions. So just make sure that you know where the hoses are, you look where you're walking when you're working in the system. Another important piece of safety is lifting. So when you're lifting, making sure that you're lifting with your knees and your legs and not your back. So I'm going to lift these. I'm kneeling down, grabbing these, and lifting back up. And these are very heavy, so be careful. And don't lift more than you can handle. I am a culprit of this, but don't do it. Finally, with safety, we want to make sure that we are locking up. So when you leave for the day, make sure that you have turned the hose off. So the hose is located over here on this wall. So we just remember lefty loosey, righty tighty, and turn it to the right, making sure it's completely off. The next step in locking up is to make sure that you turn off the lights. switches for both of the lights are found here. So you can just flip those off, and after you turn off the lights, we want to make sure that this door is locked. So we have this note here, making sure that if the door is open, we want to make sure that we shut it once we leave for the day. And then to lock it, you turn it horizontally. After you have locked that, turned off the lights, make sure everything is off. Make sure that you have cleaned up any of the supplies that you have out, just putting them back where you got them. This has been the first of many exciting videos in training with the Farmray. So now you have all the introductory tasks to work with the system. So even if you don't know how to seed and harvest and all of that, you can check on our system every day, which is really valuable to us in making sure that things are running smoothly, and that we're able to grow our greens and keep our fish a-growing.